Namaha. Harihi Om. Swagatam. Welcome you all to this Ola Samskrita Sahitya Rasaswada series, and we are in the concluding 7th act of Abhijnana Sakuntalam. I hope you all had a wonderful, peaceful and very happy Diwali last week. Okay, so now let us do the 7th act. We started it last Sunday and we hardly finished some 3 verses, and 4th verse I just started and I stopped there. So the situation is that Matali is coming back, taking the king after the king has killed Durjaya, the Danavagana, and they are both coming back to the earth now from Swargaloka. So this all starts from, Pravishati Akashayanena Rathadhirudaha Raja Matalishcha. Okay, so they are coming down and they are, the king is praising Indra and Indra is praising Dushyanta. That is, we heard from Matali that both are receptive of each other's obligation, each other's favor, and they regard each other very highly. Okay, and that is something to be noted. Now the king says, I have done only little. Compared to that, Sahasranshena api tulaitum na yogyam. Whatever I have done is not even 1,000th of what Indra has done. And when Matali says, Matali in a way compares him with Narasimha, that when Indra was in trouble, it was Narasimha who Purushakesarinascha Pura Nakhaihi Tridivam Udhrita Danava Kantakam Abhut, and now Aduna Tava Sharaihi. So in a way he is comparing Dushyanta's sharas with Narasimha's nakhas, both Nataparvabhihi nakhaihi sharaishcha. So you have obliged him, you have saved him from the trouble. And how is Indra? Sukhaparasya. He is always, engrossed in pleasures and in merrymaking and enjoyments. He doesn't have time to fight and all. So he calls somebody, he outsources everything, right? So when it is too much, it is Vishnu. Otherwise, for smaller things, the Bhupatis like Pururava or Dushyanta. But still, Raja feels that Atra Khalu Shatakratoho Eva Mahima Stutyaha. The greatness of Shatakratu is to be, recognized here, is to be praised here. Why? And then comes a very beautiful verse. We just saw the gist of it last Sunday. This is in Vasanta Tilaka Vritta. Siddhyanti karma sumahat swapiyan niyojyaha sambhavana gunamavehi tamishwaranam kim va bhavishyadarunastamasam vibheta tam chet sahasra kirano dhurina karishyat. If Sahasra Kiranaha Nama Adityaha Arunam Dhuri Na Akarishyat. If sun were not to place Aruna in the forefront, Dhuri Agrabhage. Dhuri is Agrabhage. Like Vikagnimitram Kalidasa says, no? Shikshakanam Dhuri Pratishtha Paitavyeva. Right? Who is the best teacher for that? He has given a beautiful verse in Malavikagnimittram. So Dhur or Dhur is a yoke, basically, yoke of the cart. So one who sits there, he manages and governs and controls the horses or the bullocks of the cart, right? And therefore he is Agrabhage Pratisthapitaha, Agrabhage Sthitaha. So if sun were not to place Aruna in the forefront, would Aruna have been able to tamasam bibheta kim abhavishyat Arunaha? Would he have become the destroyer of the darkness if Surya would not have placed him in the front? So Surya places him in the front, Surya sends him before him, and therefore Aruna is able to remove that darkness. It is basically the greatness of the sun. It is the sun who is the tamasaha nihanta. It is not Aruna, but he favors the subordinate in such a way that Aruna gets that credit, and we say Arunodaya Zhala, there is Arunodaya, and now the day breaks. So Aruna gets that credit because of his master, Surya. Similarly, I am getting the credit because of Shatakratu. So that is the humility, that is the humbleness of the king. And then he becomes, he makes it a generalized statement, Siddhyantu karmasu mahatsu api. Mahatsu api karmasu, even the greatest of the difficult most tasks, mahatsu karmasu, niyojyaha, niyojya, one who are employed, one who are assigned that difficult task. Mahatsu api karmasu niyojyaha yat siddhanti, when they accomplish the great and the most difficult task, tam tat Ishwaranam, that you avehi, that you know to be Ishwaranam sambhavana gunam, that you know to be the sambhavana guna, the quality of honoring the subordinates, Ishvara, the masters. So if the niyojya, the one who are employed, niyojya, ni plus yuja, it is nijanta and passive potential, right? So karmani vidyarthavachak dhatu sadhita visheshana, passive potential, passive participle of the nijanta, niyojya, not niyujya, niyojya, so nijanta, prayojaka. So one who has been assigned that task, if they become, successful in achieving that task, it is due to the guna, the quality of Ishvara, the master, the ruler, the Swamin, who have honored them with that task. So if now tomorrow I give you some task, okay, very difficult task, write a research paper on this, and then you get first prize in that, then you should thank me for that. Okay, that means, if you are niyojya in doing something and you get something for that, then it is because of somebody has assigned that work to you. So this is what last Sunday I told you about it. These are the leadership qualities. Who is the real leader? Not one who always leads, but he grooms his subordinates in such a way that they lead the master. So it is the Surya who is led by Aruna, his subordinate. Aruna is niyojya, basically, right? Aruna is niyojya. But people thank him and they say Arunodaya Zhala. Oh, there is Arunodaya. The day break, right? And then sun comes. The Aditya comes later. First is Aruna. So if sun were not to entrust that responsibility on Aruna, would Aruna would have been known as the remover of darkness by people? No. And therefore, yat siddhyanti niyojyaha kasmin mahatsu api karmasu tam avehi, know that to be Ishwaranam sambhavana gunam. Clear? So very beautiful verse. So that gives you this is a abhavishyat and akarishyat are the ling lakara, ring, not lung, ring lakara. Sanketitartha, we say, Sanketartha, if it were to happen like this. Okay. Now we'll read something from Raghava Bhatta also. He says, Prabhu Mahatvena eva karya siddhi bhavati na anyatha ityarthaha. So even if Aruna gets the credit, the karya siddhi is there because of sun's greatness. So if I am able to vanquish Durjaya, it is because the trust Shatakratu had shown in me and he has assigned this work to me. So I am just, a prodigy. I am just what you can say, a sevaka of Shatakratu Indra. He is the master and he has got the task done through me. I am just a medium. So that is the humbleness of Dushyanta. So he says here now in the commentary, Raghava Bhatt writes here, अत्र इंद्रः आत्मनि च विशेषे प्रस्तुते अप्रस्तुत प्रभु भृत्य वचनात् अप्रस्तुत प्रशंसा. So he doesn't name Indra and himself, but he names Sahasrakirana and Aruna. So Sahasrakirana is Indra and Aruna is himself. So aprastuta prashamsa. Anaya cha swasya bhrityatvam. So I am just a slave. I am just a sevaka. Swasya bhrityatvam tasya cha prabhutvam indrasya cha prabhutvam suchayantya vinayati shayat. This is the excessive humility on his part. Vinayati shayat. Vinayati shayat dyotanat udattalankaraha vyajjate. Udatto nama vastunaha sampat. AC is on. Why it is so? It's on, right? Okay. So vinayati shayadyotanat udattalankaraha vyajjate. So arunaha tamasam bhetta andhakaranashakaha kim va katham abhavishyat. How did he become, tamasam vibhetta ched yadi sahasrakiranaha agre na akarishyat. If sun were not to place him in the forefront, how would have he been able to remove the darkness? Right? So drishtanta alankaraha and anuprasaha and kim va, kim va abhavishyat. In the Nirukta, who have done Nirukta with me, now another Nirukta webinar is coming, by the way, from 17th, right? From 17th of November to 22nd of November. Soon we will get the flyer also for that. So Kim Va, Kim is a Nipata, Va is a Nipata, and as Yaska says, there is Nipata Samahara. Many times, two Nipatas come together. So Cha Iti or Cha It, it is Chet. Na plus It, Net, right? Similarly here, Kim Va, it is Nipata Samahara. So whatever we study elsewhere, we have to apply here. Otherwise, what is the use of studying, right? So kim va iti nipata samaharaha nipata samudayaha katham iti arthe. So this is katham iti arthe. The verse is clear. So Vasanta Tilaka Vritta and Drishtanta and all that. Now similar verse is there in Vikramorvashi. Similar verse is there in Vikramorvashiyam, and there Pururava says in the very first act, Nanu Vajrina eva Vajrinaha. Vajrin, another name of Satakratu, Indra, Magavan. Okay? Vajrin, Vajrahastaha. Nanu Vajrinaha eva Viryametat. This is indeed the prowess of Indra. Vajrinaha eva Viryametat. Yet Vijayante Dvishadaha Yadasya Pakshaha. That the enemies are conquered, Vasudhadhara Kandarabhisarpi Pratishabdopi Harehe Hinastinagan. And then there comes a very nice Drishtanta there in Vikramorvashi also. It is, like Vasudhadhara. Vasudhadhara are the Parvatas, the Nagas, who hold Prithvi, Vasudhadhara. Vasudhadhara Kandara, the valleys. Kandara, Dari. Abhisarpi Pratishabdaha, the resonance, the Pratidhvani, of whom Harehe Namasimhasya. Here Hari has nothing to do with Vishnu or Indra, because the next word is Hinasti Nagan, that Naga is elephant. So even the resonating sound of the, what you can say, the strong noise or voice created by a lion, that is enough to kill the elephants. So that pratishabdaha api, which comes resounding because it strikes against the two walls of the mountains, right? So Vasudhadhara Kandaraha Abhisarpi Pratishabdaha api. Kasya Harehe Namasimhasya. Kim karoti hinasti marayati hanti kim kam nagan. Nagan hanti. So that Pratishabda is a product. By whom? By Hari. So Hari is the main thing, and the other things, they are just subordinate. So if I am able to, he released Urvashi and Chitralekha and other apsarasas from the clutches of the demon Keshi, right? So I could do it because it is all Vajrinaha eva viryametat. So similar verse, So you can just find out such similarities. Many places Kalidasa repeats the ideas. Kalidasa always repeats the ideas. Okay. Matali, sadrisham tavayetat. What you say, it just fits you. It deserves to be spoken by you. This is just appropriate that you would say so because you are so humble. Okay. Sadrisham tavayetat stokam antaram atitya. He keeps quiet for a time, and stokam antaram, little distance they traverse. They are traveling by Akashayana in a chariot. So little distance. Now it has to be shown parikramataha. Okay, like that only you have to show. So stokam antaram atitya, having passed some distance, Ayushman, oh long-lived one, itah pashya. See here, he is showing something in that Nakaprishtha pratishthitasya saubhagyam atma yashasaha. Atma yashas, your glory, your own glory. Saubhagyam, the fortune to see your glory, pratisthita, well established on Nakaprishtha gaganatala. Naka is not this Naka. Naka, we have seen in the Nirukta. Do you remember? Does anybody remember in the Nirukta we have seen Naka? Plus Aka. Okay? Aka again is split as A plus Ka. Kam nama sukham. Aka sukhasya abhavaha. Na sukhabhavasya abhavaha. That means sukha only. Dukkhasya abhavaha or sukhabhava. Sukhabhava is what? Dukkha. Aka is dukkha. Na akaha. Where there is no dukkha, that is heavenly world. Only sukha. There is no dukkha, even a lesha matra api tatra dukkham na drishyate, na vartate. Ataha sukhamayam eva. And therefore the Indra is sukha parasya hare. He is always, engrossed in merrymaking. So Naka Prishta Pratishthitasya Gaganatale Pratishthitasya Atmanaha Yashasaha Saubhagyam Itah Pashya. You see that your glories are, carved on this Gaganatala. How? Then comes the beautiful verse there, and he says, Matali, that the gods are writing down your glories. Like we say, oh, this particular adventure or act of bravery should be written in golden letters. It should be carved on a stone. Something like that, so that it remains forever. Like that, the devas, Ami Devaha, Divaukasaha Tvacharitam Likhanti. Ami Divaukasaha. Divaukasaha, Okas is Griha, abode. Okas is Griha or abode, and this is cognate with the Latin word also, Okas. And we have this word in Divaukas, of course, and in the Arbhakaukastvadhikarana in the Brahma Sutra, Shankara Bhashya, Brahma Sutra, there is an adhikarana if you have you studied. So Arbhakaukastvadhikarana. Arbhaka is very small. So the Brahman stays in a very small abode. That is our heart. Such a small abode. Arbhakaukastvadhikarana, Angushta Matra Purusha, that stays there in the, and this Angushta could be like this, right? So this Angushta Matra Purusha, the Mushti Mita, our heart, it stays there. What a small house, but it pervades everywhere. Yeah? So Arbhakaukastvadhikarana. So he says, Saubhagyam Atma Yashasaha Naka Prishta Pratishthitasya Itaha Pashya. And then comes a verse, Vichitti Sheshaihi Surasundarinam Varnairami Kalpalatanshukeshu Vichintya Gita Ksamamarthajatam Divaukasastvacharitam Likhanti. The main sentence is Divaukasaha Tvacharitam Likhanti. Who are they? Ami. These. Now see, Ita Pashya. He's showing. See here, these gods, they are writing. So some gods are writing something. So he's showing them. Of course, we can't see, but then he is showing, Matali is showing Dushyanta. Ami Divaukasaha Tvacharitam Likhanti. Now this Charitam Likhanti, on what? Kalpalatanshukeshu. On the anshuka, on the cloth made from kalpalata. So this is something like, like you have the hemp or the linen, which is made from the herbs or from the trees, right? So kalpalata or kalpavruksha, kalpalata, kalpavruksha both. So kalpavruksha is a wish-granting tree and kalpalata is a wish-granting creeper. So that creeper's stems would be beaten, and like you do it for the snake's tongue. What is it? Grandmother's tongue? That, grandmother's tongue. Here in front of my room, there is grandmother's tongue. You have seen that? So that, is beaten first in the water. It is dipped in the water, then it is beaten, then you get the extract out of it, you flatten it, and that is how the cloths are made, like hemp or jute. Jute also is herbal, right? So, kalpalatanshukeshu. So, the cloth made from the wish-granting creeper. On that, Divaukasaha, Ami Divaukasaha, these gods are writing your glories, your charitra. And they need some sadhana to write. What is the sadhana? The sadhana is varnaihi, with some colors. Varnaihi. So some paints, some colors they have got. Now these colors are Surasundarinam Vichitti Sheshaihi. Very interesting. Surasundari are the divine damsels, the apsaras, or the wives of the gods, right? The daughters of the gods. So the Surasundari, the celestial damsels, the beautiful ladies in the Swargaloka, they are painting their body, their nails, their lips, their whatever. On body also you make designs and all with so many colors. Sheshaihi, after applying on their body, whatever varnas are remaining, with those varnas, with those colors, these gods are writing your charitra on that cloth. So everything is divine here. Kalpalatanshukha, normally, so this refers to you can have the manuscriptology sessions, right? What are the lipyasana? You have heard this word, lipyasana. So there are so many types of lipyasanas. Cloth is one of that. Cloth made up of what? Some herbs, right? Or sometimes, the waste material of the wood, whatever, you take out, pare off from the log of wood, that bhusa what you get when the carpenter does that takshakarma, then that also is moistened, and then that is flattened, and that becomes a cloth, right? So there are so many ways to make a cloth. So on that, cloth is one of the lipyasana. As you make a paper, similarly you make cloth. And on cloth, you can't write only by the ink, that is good for the paper and all. On cloth, you need something which will stay there, and therefore some colors. So with a brush, paint brush, and with this painting colors, you write on the anshuka. So like in ancient times, the kings used to give some inam patra, etc., something honorific. Then you open it like this, that was anshuka. That's normally not a paper, but it's a anshuka, it's a cloth, so that it can be rolled, right? In fact, Banabhatta, Kautilya first refers, and we have that reference in Banabhatta also. When the Sevaka, this is so interesting, see how the tradition percolates, right? So Kautilya mentions the Dutas who go from one place to another and give some message, then that message is carried in this cloth, and that can be rolled, and that is tucked on their vest when they tie this shela or something, to the vest, or it is hidden here on their safa. So this is like, if you have seen the Chanakya serial by Chandraprakash Dwivedi, he has shown the safa or the pagdi, not the plain one, but with the twisted cloth. In that twisted cloth, this was hidden. And Banabhatta refers to that. So this is the tradition. So this is not just a literary thing. It was there. So either you tuck it at your vest, right, so that it doesn't fall off, and you tie the, vastra over that on your vest, or you tuck it here on your mundasa, safa, whatever, pagdi. So this is the kalpalatamshukeshu vichitti sheshaihi. Vichitti is what you can say, anjant, uttana, ubtan, uti in Marathi. Now Diwali, you must have applied ubtan. In Diwali in Maharashtra and Karnataka, we have that ubtan, you apply that with mixed in oil. On Naraka Chaturdashi day especially, the first bath, they say, so ubtan lagake, and that has all the herbs like this khas and musta, vada we call it, and nagarmotha, so many chandana, little bit chandana, everything, which is good for your skin. So vichitti means that. Now, how does vichitti comes to mean that? The verbal meaning, the etymological meaning would be V plus chida. Chida is to break. Visheshena chetti. Iti vichitti. So something which is broken. Vichitti needs to be something which is broken, right? Then how come it means this uptan or uti or angaragaha? As Medini takes it, angaragaha. Vichittihi nama angaragaha. So whatever Angaraga the Surasundaris have applied, so in that Angaraga, you discard something and then you accept something. So that is the only meaning, but Vichitti, very rarely it is used. Otherwise, Hara Vichchedayorapi. Angaragaha athava Hara Vichchedayorapi. So Vichitti Sheshaihi Surasundarinam Varanairami. Kalpalatamshukeshu divaukasaha tvacharitam likhanti. Now that charita has to be very meaningful. It has to be worded in such a nice word, that people would love to read it. And therefore the third pada tells you that vichintya, they have to think about it. While writing something, you first ponder over it. You do manana and then write. Once you write, you can't erase it. No erasers there, right? On the cloth, when you write something, it has to be final. So vichintya, visheshena chintayitva. Vichintya, kim vichintya? Gita kshamam arthajatam. The meaningfulness of the words which could be put into melody to be sung. Gita kshamam, because this charita is not just a prose to be read, it is a song to be recited. So it is something which the Surasundaris can recite later on. This is like, ballad. Like the Bhattas, the Bandijanas used to sing the glories of the king, right? Their stutis, they are called Bhattas or Magadhas, etc. From Magadha, normally the people came to sing this, and therefore they are called Magadha or Charanas. So like that, these are the songs to be sung forever in the Indra Sabha. So, Gita kshamam arthajatam vichintya ami divaukasaha vichitti sheshaihi surasundarinam varnaihi he rajan he ayushman tava charitam likhanti. So this is the glory. Just see how glorious you are and how they all revere you so much, how they respect you so much, all the gods. Because Indra respected you. If the master respects, the other people have to respect. Right? So, Divaukasaha Tvacharitam Likhanti. Very nice verse. So, Udatta Alankara, Parinama Alankara, Anuprasa Alankara, and there is Vastudhvani. We'll read something from the commentary. So, Vichitti Sheshaihi Swahastena Tasam Angaragam Kritva Avasheshitaihi iti anena Tvacharitanam Atipriyatvam Asuchitam. So, the Divaukasaha have, now here Raghava Bhatta goes a step further. He says, the Divaukasaha, the gods have painted the bodies of their beloveds, and whatever colors have remained, they have, they didn't keep it for tomorrow's thing. They stole it to write your charitra. So, anena tvacharitanam atipriyatvam suchitam. Okay, so your charitra is very priya for them. They just revere you so much. Okay. Then varnaihi varnakaihi sita pitadibhihi. So the colors like white, yellow, etc. Ami divaukasaha kalpalataanshukeshu kalpavalli vastreshu etena etadeva adhikaranam tal likhana yogyam iti dhvani. Where else they could have written it? So this kalpalata anshuka is the lipyasana because it will remain forever. Okay, and therefore etadeva adhikaranam tallekhanaya yogyam tvacharita lekhanaya yogyam iti dhvanyate. Tvacharitam tvad avadanam nama prashastam karma. We have seen that last time. Tvacharitam tvad avadanam likhanti charitasya alekhana sambhavad aha. So entire charitra they cannot write, but they can just glorify you for that conquer over the Durjaya Danavagana. Okay, that was something very glorious act on your part. And vichintya vicharya tvadiya charitani gita nibaddhani kritva likhanti. So they are not writing in prose, they are writing in verse form. And while writing verse form, you have to think, because there has to be some yamaka, some prasa, So writing poetry has to be a little challenging than writing a simple prose. So Gita Nibaddhani Kritva Tattvacharitam Likhanti. Evam Vishishta Kartru Vishishta Karana Vishishta Adhikarana Nirdeshena. So everything is very, very specific here. Whose charitra? Your charitra. Who are you? The person who was given half of the seat by Indra himself. And Mandaramala Harina Nibaddha. And he put Mandaramala. So that your charitra. Who are writing? The gods themselves. With what? The Varna. On what? Kalpalata. Everything is Vishishta, and therefore Vishishta Lekhanatva Varnitatvat Udatta Alankaraha. This is how the commentators bring out the nuances of everything, right? Tena tesham evam vidha sadashu shrungara rasabhogya sthitihi tvat prasadat iti vastudhvanitam. So this, they got an opportunity to do this because you gave them that avasara by killing those demons. Atra vichitti sheshasya yakshakardamad ekavarnatvena nirupanat tasya cha prakritopayogitvāt parinamalankara shruti vritti anupraso and upajatihi indra upendra vajrayoho. So upajati meter, so many alankaras, and there is vastudhvani. Everything is special about this. Okay. Vichitti sheshai surasundarinam varnairami kalpalataanshukeshu vichintya gita ksamamarthajatam divaukasastvatcharitam likhanti. Matale, Raja says, he wants to divert the point because this has been going on for last 4-5 verses. each other, praising each other, right? Oh, I did nothing. Oh, he is so great. He will say, no, no, you are so great. How long it will go on? The topic has to change. And the king changes the topic. That also shows his vinayashilatva. Otherwise people, stuti priyo vai manushyaha. People like to hear their own glories. But king is something different. He is not a normal man who would like to listen to his glories and praises all the time till he gets like Pinda Kharjoro Udvejitasya Tintinyam Abhilasha, So not that person, and therefore he diverts the topic to something else. And that gives Kalidasa another opportunity to showcase his knowledge about so many other things we'll see. मातले असुर संप्रहार उत्सुकेन पूर्वेद्युः दिवम् अधिरोहता मया न लक्षितः स्वर्गमार्गः. Oh Matali, Purvedyuh, the previous day. So only one day he stayed there. If we see in the morning, 6th act, when king and the Vidushaka come in the Upavana, it's a morning time. Do you remember? It's a morning time because these Sanumati comes there, the two ladies are plucking the mango blossom and somebody prohibits. And then that Matali thing happens, Vidushaka is caught hold of him and he goes there. Okay, so the same day perhaps after going there, he conquers Durjayagana. Next day he is coming back. So he says, Purvedyuhu, the earlier day, the previous day, Maya Swargamargaha na lakshitaha. I did not notice the path on which we were going to Swarga. Why? Asura Samprahara Utsukena. Because I was so eager to hit and strike that Asura, because Shatakratu has entrusted me such a difficult task, and I was how do I do that? How do I achieve it? And how do I please my friend Indra? So I did not notice, when you are so much occupied by some thoughts, even if the path is so beautiful, you cannot enjoy it. When you are preoccupied, you don't enjoy. And when you are free from that occupation, your work has been done, the same path you come back and then, oh, what a beautiful road. Oh, I didn't notice it. Right? Yesterday I went by the same road, but I didn't notice, and now I can notice because you are preoccupied, so you don't notice the things. It's so very psychological, so very human, right? So the king says, Matale, Asura Samprahara Utsukena Purvedyuhu Divam Adhirohata, while ascending the Swargaloka, Maya na lakshitaha Swargamargaha. Katamasmin marutam pathivartamahe. In which path of the winds we are now? So which highway we are on now? Which is the highway we are now traveling, right? So like that, because that day Matali just drove him and he was so eager, he was so anxious, and therefore he just left without noticing here and there, looking here and there. So now he is asking Matali, Katarasmin marutam pathi vartamahe. So this gives Kalidasa an opportunity to showcase his knowledge of. There are so many paths of Marus. There are 7 paths. Avaha, Pravaha, Nivaha, Parivaha, etc. He has given, the commentator has given. We'll read some portion from that. He has quoted from the Puranas also. So we'll read some portion from that. So Katarasmin marutam pathi vartamahe. And Matali says, this is again a very beautiful verse. He says that we are on the path of Parivaha wind. So there are so many paths, 7. Okay, we'll read the 7 paths. We'll first read the verse and then go for the commentary. Trisrotasam vahati yo gagana pratishtham jyotinshi vartayati cha prabhibhaktarashmihi tasya dvitiya hari vikramanistamastam vayo rimam parivahasya vadanti margam. So this is again a very full of annotations. This verse is full of annotations. So many notes you can write on this. Trisrotasam yaha margaha. He is asking, Katarasmin marutam pathi vartamahe. What is the panthaha? Okay. Kasmin pathi vayam vartamahe. And then he is telling yaha margaha, because margam comes in the last line. Tam vadanti parivahasya margam. Okay. So that marga which yaha vahati carries trisrotasam. Trisrotasa. What is trisrotasa? Having three streams. Which has three streams? Which river? Ganga. Ganga has three streams because she flows in the Swargaloka as Mandakini, on the earth as Bhagirathi, and in the Patal as Bhogavati. So in the three worlds she flows. And therefore Trini Srotansi Asyaha iti Trisrotaha. Trisrotas. It is also called Tripathaga or Trimargaga, Trivartmaga. So there are different words for her. Trishu lokeshu srotaha asyaha iti trisrotas nama Ganga. Okay. Now they have just started from the Indraloka, from the Swargaloka, and just Ami Divaukasaha Tvacharitam Likhanti. So they are still in the Gagana, that is the Swargaloka. Slowly they will descend. From the Swargaloka, they will come to Antarikshaloka, and from Antarikshaloka, they will come to Bhuloka. So this descent has been also described in a wonderful manner by Kalidasa. Okay, slow, gradual descent. So Gagana Pratishtham Trisrotasam. So this Trisrotas, this river, which has three streams, is well established in the Swargaloka. Gagana Pratishtham Trisrotasam yaha vahati saha margaha tasmin marge vayam vartamahe. Okay, that is one sentence. Jyotinshi vartayati cha pravibhakta rashmihi yaha margaha. Pravibhakta rashmihi, that marga where the vayu, the wind, breaks. That is, this is the refraction of the light. Refraction of the light, scientifically. Pravibhakta rashmihi, the rashmi, the Surya Kirana, gets refracted and pravibhakta. When it gets scattered, it rolls or it gives its light to other luminaries in the sky. Jyotinshi vartayati cha pravibhakta rashmihi. So this path where the winds break the the one single ray of the sun is broken into fragments, and that light goes to the different graha, nakshatra, tara, etc. Dhruva nakshatradi, nakshatrani. So all these, they start getting rolling, or they start, vartayati is really to roll. Okay. But here, it's not really rolling, but they shine with that light which is broken or which is like refracted by this particular platform. So that is the path on which we are presently trading on. Jyotinshi vartayati cha pravibhakta rashmi. We'll read the commentary also for better understanding in Sanskrit. Tasya dvitiya hari vikrama nihi tamaskam nistamas. Is the path where the dvitiya hari vikrama, hari Vishnu, dvitiya vikrama, hari Vishnu is called Trivikrama. In which avatar? Vamana avatar. So he has asked 3 steps from Bali. You all know that story. Okay, that story comes in multiple Puranas, etc. And then in one step, he traversed the entire earth. In the second, Antariksha and Swargaloka. And for third, there is no place. And therefore, he pushed him down to Patala. That is the story. So the Dvitiyaha Harehe Vikramaha would refer to the Antariksha and Dyuloka being pervaded by the second step of Hari. Harehe Dvitiya Vikramaha, the second stride of Vishnu. Okay, Tasya Dvitiya Hari Vikramaha, and because Hari, Vishnu's second stride, that foot, that long stride, it has pervaded the entire Antariksha and the Dyuloka, the darkness has gone. Nih tamaskam. Tama also means papa. In the Koshagata Artha, Tama also means papa. So the Vishnu's foot has removed all the sins from that loka, and therefore the people residing in Antariksha Loka and the Dyuloka are blessed, and they are free from their sins because Vishnu's foot has covered that entire space. Right? So many annotations, see how rich it is. And this I feel Kalidasa is writing the most difficult verses in the 7th act. All till now, the verses are so simple, right? But here you have to split every word, otherwise the meaning doesn't enter, right? It doesn't become clear to you. Tasya dvitiya hari vikrama nistamaskam saha margaha. And what is that marga called? Vayoho imam margam parivahasya margam vadanti. So this is known as Parivaha Vayu Marga. Katarasmin marutam pati vartamahe. That was the question by Dishanta. So which path we are going from? Which highway? NH4, NH46, like that. So there are so many highways, so many paths. And how many paths were there? From Swargaloka to here there are 7 paths. So we'll read this and then again read the verse so that it makes very clear. So in the Vishnu Purana it is said, Vishnor bibhartiyam bhaktya shirasa harnisham bhruvaha tatas saptarshayo yasyam pranayama parayanaha tishthanti vichi malabhihi sityamana jatajale vayorvai santater yasyaha plavitam shashimandalam bhuyo dhikatamam kantim vahatyetat ahakkshaye meru prushthe vahatyuchaihi nishkranta shashimandalat saha ayam margaha. So this is the description in Vishnu Purana that I'll give you the gist that this is, the marga, this is the three srotas, the Ganga, Gagana Pratishtha, ya Vishnoho, ya Bhaktya Shirasa Aharnisham Bibharti, who carries the glory of Vishnu all the time, and the Saptarshis on her banks, Pranayama Parayanaha, they are practicing austerities on the banks of this Mandakini, the Svarganga. Tishthanti Vichimala Bhihi, and the Vichimala, the waves, one after the other, the waves coming in the Ganga, with that they are drenching their jatas, Visichamana jata jale, and that path, Vayoho santatehe plavitam shashimandalam. So the shashimandala gets submerged in that path. Here we got pravibhakta rashmihi jyotiushi vartayati. Shashi is also one of the jyotish which gets the light from sun. Right? All these are paropajivis. They don't have their own lights, right? So it is Surya who renders light, and his rays get, refracted, and the other nakshatras, etc. get brightened by that. So here is the reference of Shashimandala. So Meru Prushthe Vahatyuchaihi Nishkranta Shashimandala, that is Saha Margaha. Pravibhaktaha Rashmayaha. रश्मयः अर्थात वायुरूपाः एव यत्र कर्मणि ज्योतिषी नाम किं ध्रुवादि नक्षत्रान्तानि, ध्रुव etc. all the stars. And then again it is said in the Vishnu Purana only, Surya Chandramasau Tara Nakshatrani Grahais Saha वातानीकमयैः बन्धैः ध्रुवैः बद्धानि तानि वै ग्रहर्क्षताराधिष्ण्यानि ध्रुवे बद्धान्यशेषतः भ्रमन्ति उचितं मैत्रेयानिलरश्मिभिः एक्सेट्रा तस्य परिवहस्य वायोः imam margam vadanti. That is the path which is the parivaha marga, parivaha vayoho margaha. Dvitiyaha nama harehe vamanavatare yaha vikramaha padanikshepaha कीदृशः पादनिक्षेपः निस्तमस्कं पापरहितं शोकरहितं कृतवान् तमः अंधकारे स्वर्भानो पापे शोके गुणांतरे इति Haimaha. So he quotes the lexicon also. And then there is Vamana Purana also he quotes. So many Puranas are quoted here, you know. Now, in general, if we see, there are these 7 paths which are like Avaha, Pravaha. Where are these names? परिवहो नाम स्वर गंगा सप्तर्षि प्रवर्तकः षष्ठः वातसंघः काट्यवेम another commentator he gives you this commentary there are 7 paths I told you this is the 6th षष्ठः वातसंघः and Brahmanda Purana is quoted here आवह प्रवह संवह उद्वह विवह परिवह परावह. So Parivaha becomes the 6th. Okay, there are 7 paths: Avaha, Pravaha, Samvaha, Udvaha, Vivaha, Parivaha, Paravaha. So these are the 7 paths, and this is Shashthaha Vata Sanghaha. So this is the 6th one, which is Saptarshi Pravartakaha, Swarganga and Saptarshi Pravartakaha. Saptarshi Chakram Swargangam Shashthaha Parivahastatha. Okay, so these are the 7 paths, and we are traveling now on the 6th from these 7. Katarasmin Marutam Pathi Vartamahe, and this is the answer which he gives. Trisrotasam Vahati Yo Gagana Pratishtham. Is it clear? Trisrotasam Vahati Gagana Pratishtham Trisrotasam. So Gagana Pratishtha becomes an adjective of Mandakini. Trisrotasam. Jyotimshi Vartayati cha Pravibhakta Rashmihi Tasya Dvitiya Hari Vikrama Nistamaskam. Don't read as Nistamaskam. It is not Nistamaska. Nistamaskam. Vayorimam Parivahasya Vadanti Margam. So this is the 6th Vayu Mandala from which he is going. Matale Atakhalu Sabaya Antakaranaha Mama Antaratma Prasidati. Then he says, oh, we are going from that where the Ganga originates. The Bhagirathi on the earth is originally the Mandakini, and she originates in this path. Parivaha, Saptarshis and Ganga, right? And therefore, Sabaya Antakaranaha. So, outwardly and inwardly also, Mama Antaratma Prasidati. This is very suggestive, because soon he will be meeting his beloved Shakuntala, and his son is getting reunited with his wife and obtaining his son for the first time. He is seeing his son for the first time. So these are prasada saumyani purah phalani, right? And therefore, this is something, you know, you get some, what you can say, premonition is in a derogative sense, but sometimes you feel something good is happening, some pulsation, some vibrations you get inside, that something good is happening. Antaratma prasidati. You feel so good, so comfortable for nothing. Sometimes, you know, there is no apparent reason to feel good, yet because something good is happening very soon, right? And therefore, mama antara. So this is very psychological. Mama antaratma sabaya antakaranaha, because it is the Mandakini where the Saptarshis also take bath, and they have that Vichimala Jale, you know, Kesha Jatan, they sprinkle their jata also, Saptarshis. So that Mandakini, So no wonder I am feeling so good, because we are passing from that path. So though he hasn't seen Mandakini there, he feels so good. Oh, this is the originator of Mandakini, the Swarganga. So something very sacred is in the air. In the whole environment, there is something which is very sacred, and therefore, mama antaratma prasidati, so sabaiha, and for that also there is some, So, antahkaranani, baihya are the 10 indriyas, the panchakarmendriyas, the panchajnanendriyas. And antahkarana will be antahkarana chatushtaya, mana buddhi chitta ahankara. Okay, so that is what is given in the notes here. Sabaihya antahkarana, karanaihi abaihaihi, as given in the Raghuvamsha also. Sabaihya karana is not good, as antahkarana, the chief instrument of the soul, is left out. So when we say only sabaiha karana, there is a patha bheda here, sabaiha karana. So that patha bheda is not so good, because antahkarana is lost, and it is more of the peace and that solace which his heart and his mind gets, rather than his external indriyas. And therefore, Sabahya Karana Patha is not good. Sabahya Antahkarana Patha is good. So Rathangam Avalokya Megha Padavim Avatirna Swaha. Oh, we were now is coming in great speed. Just imagine when the flight is landing. When the plane is landing, you just cross, that not Swargaloka, but when 30,000 feet you are flying above, and when the clouds are below you, you can see the dense carpet of the clouds. And then suddenly you start, you pierce through that blanket of the clouds and come literally down, down, down. Maybe when the wings of our plane also get moist when they are piercing or passing through the clouds, we don't know that, but now they are coming in a ratha, and therefore he can notice all that. Okay, the king says, Aye, Megha Padavim Avatirana Swaha. Oh, we have come on the path, we have descended little down. From the Swargaloka, we have come to Antariksha. Because Meghas would be there not in Swarga, in the Antariksha. Right? So this is the slow descent, gradual descent. Megha Padavim Avat. Padavi is not the Padavi which you get the certificate. Padavi is Marga. Padavi is Marga. Padagato. Padigato. Katham avagamyate? Matali asks him, how do you know that we have come to the Antariksha and we are descending down? And then king recites a beautiful verse. I'll recite it and stop here because again this requires some more explanation. I told you that in the 7th act the verses are bit difficult. I mean, they need explanation. It is not reading is understanding as it was so far. Reading is not understanding. So reading is understanding is prasada guna. There is hardly prasada guna because you have to break everything. Unless you break it like Bharavi's verses, and therefore Bharavi's Sargatraya, the first 3 sargas of Bharavi, Kiratarjuniya, are called Pashanatraya. Do you know that? The first 3 sargas of Kiratarjuniya are called Pashanatraya. They are as hard as breaking a stone. Have you seen the people sitting besides the road and breaking the stones for construction and all that? It's a hard job, isn't it? So every word, every samastapada of Bharavi, it has to be broken. Unless you break it, you can't get the gist of it. And therefore Bharavi's entire kavya is known as Narikela Paka. Narikela, very tough shell outside. You have to break it to get the sweet water and the sweet, soft malai, right? You get it, but after a while, and unless you break it, you can't get it, right? So, Narikela Paka or Pashanatraya, his sargas are called. Apna Kalidasa is like Draksha Paka. You put Draksha in your mouth and immediately you understand. But some verses are little difficult. They remind us of Bharavi. We'll just read and stop. अयमरविवरेभ्यश्चातकैर्निष्पतद्भिः हरिभिरचिरभासां तेजसा चानुलिप्तैः गतमुपरि घनानां वारिगर्भोदराणां पिशुनयति रथस्ते शीकरक्लिन्ननेमिः. The gist I'll tell you, like last Sunday I told you the gist of the verse which we read today, that Megha Padavim Avatirnau Swaha. We have approached the path where the clouds are there, and these are the clouds which are Vari Garbhodaranam. In the Udara there is Vari, so these are rain bearing clouds. These are water bearing clouds. And naturally, when the Ratha is passing through them, the water drops, Shikara, the drops of water, they get spread over the chakra, over the wheels, and the Rathanemi, the Ratha Paridhi, the failure of the wheel, the Paridhi, the circumference gets wet. And these, when the Ratha is gliding swiftly, the wet thing, that will spray the water drops here and there, right? And therefore the horses are also by the Ratha Paridhi. There is another annotation, there is Chataka birds. Chataka always asks for the rainwater. And therefore the Chataka birds, they fly here and there. And when the Ratha is going, Ratha is coming down, 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 down. So Chataka just go from here and there and here and there. So through the arrows, through the spokes of the chariot, the Chatakas are flying. So we have come to the Megha Padavim. What a beautiful observation, right? So let us read it next Sunday, and let us stop here now. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. See you next Sunday. Till then, Hari Om.